Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to tell you a story that really gets to the heart of what true friendship means. It's a simple tale, but it holds a powerful lesson that I think we can all learn from. So get comfortable and let's dive into the story of Jimmy and Alex. In a quiet little town, nestled comfortably between rolling green hills, lived two boys named Jimmy and Alex. Now these two weren't just friends. They were inseparable. They had been best buddies since they were old enough to chase butterflies, sharing everything from scraped knees to whispered secrets. Their friendship was the kind you read about in books, a bond forged in the innocent days of childhood. They did absolutely everything together. They'd walk to the old brick schoolhouse side by side, their chatter filling the morning air. After school, you could always find them at the town park. Sometimes they'd be trying to see who could swing the highest, their laughter echoing as they soared towards the sky. Other times, they'd be sitting under the giant oak tree, sharing their wildest dreams. Jimmy wanted to be an astronaut and explore the stars, while Alex dreamed of becoming a famous writer, crafting stories that would capture people's hearts. Their days were a colorful tapestry of shared adventures and quiet moments. They knew each other's favorite ice cream flavor, the silly things that made them laugh uncontrollably, and the secret fears they wouldn't admit to anyone else. Their connection was built on a foundation of trust and countless shared memories. They were a team, a dynamic duo, facing the small world of their town together. Little did they know, their friendship was about to be tested in a way they never expected. One sunny afternoon, with not a cloud in the sky, they decided to go on an adventure. The forest that bordered their town was a place of mystery and excitement for them. It was filled with towering trees, winding paths, and the promise of discovery. They packed some snacks and set off, their spirits high, ready to explore the familiar woods they loved so much. The air was warm, and the sunlight dappled through the leaves, creating dancing patterns on the forest floor. They ventured deeper than usual, following a path they hadn't taken before. They were so caught up in their adventure, pointing out interesting birds and strangely shaped rocks, that they didn't notice the sky beginning to change. The bright blue slowly turned to a moody gray, and the wind began to whisper through the trees, carrying a chill. Before they knew it, a gentle drizzle started, which quickly turned into a heavy, relentless downpour.
Ow.
The rain came down in sheets, blurring the world around them. Familiar, friendly forests suddenly felt different, darker and more imposing. The ground, once firm, became a slick, treacherous carpet of mud and wet leaves. They decided to head back, walking carefully to avoid slipping.
Ow.
But in the midst of the downpour, disaster struck. Suddenly, with a cry of surprise, Jimmy's feet slid out from under him. He flailed his arms, trying to regain his balance, but it was no use. He slipped and tumbled into a deep, muddy hole that had been hidden by the overgrown foliage. The hole was deeper than it looked, and its sides were steep and slick with mud. Jimmy tried desperately to climb out, his fingers scrabbling for a grip, but the wet earth just crumbled away. He was stuck. Panic began to creep in as the cold water in the bottom of the hole soaked through his clothes. He looked up at Alex, his face a mixture of fear and desperation. "Alex, I can't get out," he shouted over the sound of the pounding rain. Alex's heart pounded in his chest. Seeing his best friend trapped and scared sent a jolt of adrenaline through him. His first instinct was to call for help. But as he scanned the rain-soaked forest, he realized they were completely alone. There wasn't another soul in sight. The familiar woods now felt vast and isolating. He knew he couldn't just stand there. He had to do something, and he had to do it fast. His mind raced, searching for a solution. He looked around frantically, his eyes darting from tree to tree. He couldn't go for help. It would take too long, and Jimmy was getting colder by the minute. He had to rely on his own wits, and his eyes landed on a thick, fallen branch not too far away. It was long and sturdy. An idea sparked in his mind. It was a long shot, but it was their only shot. Without a second thought, Alex rushed over to the branch. It was heavy and awkward, but with a surge of determination, he managed to break off a long, strong piece. He dragged it over to the edge of the hole. "Jimmy, grab onto this," he yelled, his voice straining with effort. He carefully lowered the branch down into the pit, making sure Jimmy could reach it. Jimmy's hands, cold and muddy, closed around the branch with a desperate grip. "I've got it," he called out. Alex planted his feet firmly on the slippery ground, leaned back, and pulled with every ounce of strength he possessed. The mud fought against him, creating a powerful suction around Jimmy. For a moment, it felt impossible. Alex's muscles screamed in protest, and the rain slicked his hands, making it hard to hold on. But the thought of leaving his friend behind was unimaginable. He dug his heels in deeper, gritted his teeth, and gave one final mighty heave. Slowly, inch by agonizing inch, Jimmy began to move. With a last surge of effort, Alex pulled him up over the edge and onto solid ground. They both collapsed onto the wet grass, exhausted, muddy, and breathing heavily. The rain was still coming down, but neither of them cared. They were safe, and they were together. For a few moments, they just sat there, catching their breath. The only sounds were the drumming of the rain and their own ragged breathing. Finally, Jimmy looked over at Alex, a wide, relieved smile spreading across his mud-streaked face. "Thank you, Alex," he said, his voice full of genuine gratitude. "If you hadn't been here, I couldn't have made it out." He knew without a doubt that his friend had just saved him. Alex, still catching his breath, managed a laugh. The tension of the last few minutes melted away, replaced by an overwhelming sense of relief and a deep, profound affection for his friend. He clapped Jimmy on the shoulder. "That's what friendship is for," he replied, his own smile matching Jimmy's. "We never leave each other behind." In that moment, those words weren't just a saying, they were a promise, a creed they both understood deep in their bones. From that day on, something shifted between them. Their already strong bond became unbreakable, forged in the crucible of that rainy afternoon. They had faced a real crisis together, and they had come out the other side stronger. They had learned a lesson that day, far more important than anything they could learn in a classroom. They learned that a true friend isn't just someone who shares your sunny days and happy times. A true friend is the one who stands by you when the storm hits, the one who reaches down into the mud to pull you out when you fall. They are the ones who show up when things get tough, offering their strength when you have none left. It's about loyalty, courage, and the simple, powerful act of being there for someone, no matter what. Jimmy and Alex continued their adventures, their laughter still echoing through the town, but now their friendship had a new depth, a new meaning. They knew they could count on each other, not just for fun and games, but for the most important moments in life. And that's the heart of their story. It's a beautiful reminder for all of us that the greatest gift we can have is a friend who whoa and let go when we re-slipping. Thank you so much for listening to this story with me today. I hope it resonated with you as much as it did with me. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more stories and reflections. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Maybe share a story about a time a friend was there for you. Till next time, take care and cherish your friends.